Alright everybody, welcome back to the best YouTube channel on the entire site. Sorry for not getting a video up Friday. I usually try to do Tuesdays and Fridays, but like the reason I don't say I have an upload schedule is because you know how much I succeed at doing Tuesday and Friday videos? Like almost never. So if I just don't make promises, then I don't have anything to lose. Anyway, this is probably going to be my last story type video for a while because reading the comments, making those videos is so much fun. I really just want to do a ton of those right now. Those are so much fun to do. But as long as I get good comments, it's just an endless stream of good content. I mean, I don't know if you consider Club Penguin good content, but like, I do. If you live in America, chances are your school has a club called FBLA or DECA. They're basically the same thing, and if it doesn't, that's okay. But so long story short, I don't know if many of you know this, but I'm pretty much the best 3D animator in the entire country of the United States of America. Now, that might be a slight exaggeration. Like we do have like Disney, Pixar, and stuff. Like just maybe a slight exaggeration, but it's just a really small exaggeration. This was sophomore year of high school. This was actually last year, and I was thinking to myself about applying to college, and like I have obviously good grades and everything. My school's not like difficult or anything, but the colleges don't really care a whole lot about that. They care about like what you accomplished in life mostly. And I was looking at my resume, and I'm like, well, I got this YouTube channel, and I pretty much have done nothing. So I decided to join this club called FBLA, thinking it would be like an easy thing to put on my resume. So I joined the club, right? It stands for Future Business Leaders of America. So, if you live in the UK or Canada, chances are you have a club that's basically the same thing. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't necessarily have any friends in Canada or the UK, so I wouldn't know, but I'm assuming there's something similar. Anyway, so I joined the club. We go to the meeting. First thing the teacher says, like, oh, if you're looking for a resume builder, then you're in the wrong place, because this is not an easy club. So I seriously considered dropping out, but I didn't. I kept on keeping on. Anyway, so I decided to stay in the club because I was like, no, actually, it probably will be an easy resume builder. He's probably just saying that. And so there was like some volunteer stuff we had to do, but it wasn't necessarily hard. And basically how it works, you have to pick an event, and they're all business related events except for pretty much the one I chose. But I'll get into that later. They're all business-related events, and you compete against other kids, and then you go to regional competition, then you go to the state competition, then you go to the national competition, then you go to the universe competition. You compete against people from other planets. Anyway, so we got the list, and basically first come first serve. You pick out your event, you go, you tell the teacher. We'll call him Mr. Jonathan. It's actually funny thing that the FBLA leader is the same person from my other video about getting my flat tire fixed. So we'll call him Mr. Jonathan because that's what he was in the last video. But anyway, so then you go to Mr. Jonathan. You say your event and etc. etc. So I was looking at the events and they were just brutal. They were like, oh gosh, I was like, why did I sign up for this? I was looking at the events and it was like accounting, advanced accounting. Even more advanced accounting, business ethics, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is terrible." But then on the 400,000 page PDF, I found the event 3D animation, and I was like, I made thumbnails in Cinema 4D, so I guess you could say I'm basically a professional 3D animator. I should sign up for that. And so yeah, I was biting off a little more than I could chew there, but I signed up for 3D animation, and then I immediately downloaded a cracked version of Cinema 4D. Because in order to save your projects, you have to have the full version, aka the cracked version. Because I don't know if anyone has actually ever bought that software. Like, it's like 300. It's like so much money. You have no idea. I have like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. I have at least 4.5 months to do this project. So for the first 3.5 months, I procrastinate. I basically do nothing. I have like until March. I want to say no. I have until February. And my plan is just to procrastinate and then do it all during Christmas break. So that's what I did. I went into Christmas break having nothing done, and then I basically just I didn't really. The thing is that before doing this, all I knew how to do was make thumbnails. I didn't even know how to actually do a proper animation. I didn't know how to do an animation at all. So my entire Christmas break, not my entire, like 5 minutes of it, consisted of me Googling how to make a Cinema 4D animation, and almost every tutorial on YouTube was just absolute garbage. The guys that helped me the most were GrayscaleGorilla.com, had some solid tutorials, and I was actually able to learn a ton. This is not a plug. They did not pay me to say this. I don't have enough subscribers for people to pay me to say stuff. I look at these tutorials. Get this. The topic is this: the benefits of TSA pre-check. And that's TSA pre-check is basically you go to the airport, you got TSA pre-check, you get to skip some of the security. And I did an entire FBLA project on this TSA pre-check, and that's all I know about it. That is all I know about it. So if you're thinking that you need to know a lot about your topic to go to nationals, you're wrong. That's all I know about TSA PreCheck. And before this, I knew nothing. So I go on the TSA PreCheck website, and I try to figure out what it is. and I get the basic gist of it. Their website's just terrible, though. And, so I don't know how I'm going to do this animation. I start just cranking out random animations. I Google how to make an airplane in Cinema 4D. I make this ridiculous homemade airplane with a propeller, even though, like, actual airport airplanes don't have propellers. Like, commercial airlines, pretty sure they don't use propellers on their planes. But, you know, I don't think anyone noticed, believe it or not. Anyway, so I made this, like, weird-looking plane. I made some ocean with moving water. I made a grassy field. The plane's just flying over. And none of the animations really making sense. Then I made a clock with turning hands to symbolize time. And, yeah, it was pretty solid. I had no idea what I was doing. Eventually, I have all these random clips. And then I have, like, I couldn't find any good character rigs except a Lego rig, again, from grayscalegorilla.com. So I get their Lego man rig to use my people in the airport. And it was literally just, I was just using Lego people as my, that was my animation. It was just Lego guys in an airport. So I made this animation. I had some, like, really crappy lighting, but at least it's a lighting. And, I made, like, I had a coffee mug at one point. It was pretty intense. It was a pretty intense animation. It was terrible. I didn't make a storyboard or anything, so I'm, like, basically panicking because we have to give the presentation to our FBLA instructors, obviously, before we actually go to the competition, so they can make sure we're not going to make an embarrassment out of the whole school. Fast forward a little bit, still procrastinate a lot more, just kind of like how I do on my YouTube channel. The day before the animation, I have, like, half of it done. I finish the rest of it. I leave my computer on, like, all night just rendering out these scenes that I've created. And I don't even remember a whole lot. I tried to really forget it because it was just really embarrassing animation. It was just so bad. Presentation, like, I used Windows Movie Maker. This was before I even used Premiere Pro. This is when I was using Movie Maker. I record my live commentary over the animation with Windows Movie Maker. So it's just terrible. But I wanted to have something. So I go in and I give the presentation later at school, and it's very average. And then surprisingly, my instructor's like, all right, sorry, you can improve by doing this, and this, but other than that, you know, pretty solid. So I'm like, oh, okay. Fast forward a little bit, and I'm at state, so we're at the state competition now with this bad animation, and I'm at, like, I've been talking for like 8 minutes now, so I better get going. We're at state. There was like 5 other kids from my school or so. Let me count: 1, 2, 3, 4, somewhere around 5 other kids from my school made it to state, and they all give their presentations. We're staying at this hotel. You stay at a hotel for like 3 days. You give your presentation on one of the days. So I walk in to my presentation room when it's time for me to give my presentation. After trying to find it for an hour and 45 minutes, I finally found it. Wait out there with a bunch of other sweaty kids for like another hour, then walk in. You have to dress up. Oh, here we go. So I actually almost got disqualified for the state competition. Because get this. So, you have to dress up, obviously. Future Business Leaders of America, you gotta wear, like, the tie and all that, which I hate, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I've got, like, my whole tie, only tie I own, because that's how little I dress up. I have, like, the entire suit, right? And then I don't have dress shoes on. I have just, like, my gym shoes, which I thought would be okay, but it turns out that I was actually about to get disqualified. So, we drive to Goodwill, and I buy some shoes for, like, literally $10. It won't get me disqualified, and then we go back, and that somehow I don't get disqualified. So that was an unbelievable stroke of luck that there was a Goodwill like 2 minutes away from the competition. Otherwise, I would have got disqualified. But basically, so we do that. I was actually fine with getting disqualified though. Like I thought the state was going to be it for me. I thought I was going to get eliminated after that. So I was like, yeah, that's all right. But no, we had to go to Goodwill. The 3 judges, and then the other 5 kids, and 2 of my FBLA instructors, all in a room that's like 7 square feet. Or somewhere around 10 square feet. So all of us are in there. I publicly humiliate myself in front of my 5 peers and the 3 judges. And then I just basically go on a long rant about how Cinema 4D works and whatever. And the little I do know about Cinema 4D, I kind of just explain to them. I have like 7 minutes to give this presentation. So I pretty much just talk about Cinema 4D. That's literally it. So I show like a picture of Cinema 4D and what my 3D animation looked like behind the scenes. And I'm like, this does this, and this does this, and blah, 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 blah. And, they're like, oh, very interesting, young man, very, oh, yeah, all right, and then they seem pretty intrigued, so I'm like, okay, and, then there's, of course, time for questions, and I start off by saying, I assume, because they're judges for a 3D animation competition, so I'm like, and Cinema 4D is one of the biggest, 3D animation softwares. Most of you have heard of it. I did a tutorial a while back on how to do stuff in it. So I start off by saying, like, I assume you're all familiar with Cinema 4D, and then it turns out none of them are familiar with Cinema 4D. So I don't know if that helped me or hurt me. It turns out it probably helped me, because somehow, I don't know how, like, the judges for a 3D animation competition didn't know about Cinema 4D. I honestly have no idea, but apparently they had no idea what Cinema 4D even was, which is awesome, because then I pretend like it was this really complicated software, which is it's a little complicated. Like, it takes some getting used to, but I pretty much just pretended like it was the most complicated thing like you could possibly ever learn. I basically pretended like using Cinema 4D was like rocket science, and I threw out all these BS vocabulary terms. I was like totally like into the element because they didn't know what Cinema 4D was, so I just completely exaggerated it. I mean, not completely. Like, it was just like a slight with like air quotation marks, like a slight exaggeration. And at the end, they were like really impressed. They were like, "This kid is the future." Like, oh my gosh, he's going to Disney Pixar with those Lego rigs. I go home after state. I go home, and then I get a text, and it's like, I check the results. Evan, first place, because Cinema 4D is so complicated. I was like, there it is. This is the pinnacle of my career as a 3D animator. But no, in fact, it wasn't the pinnacle of my career, because then we go to Nationals, which turned out to be in Chicago. Me and one other kid from my school who was doing like a really awesome sales presentation. His presentation was so much better than mine, not gonna lie. He was like the best salesman I've ever seen in my life. But we'll call him Gregory. So me and Gregory go to Nationals in Chicago, and it's a step up from state. We're staying in like this super fancy hotel, like living the high life for like 3 days or whatever, however long there. Like, they had Fiji water there, so basically it's like the real deal. And aside from having Fiji water, another thing they had was like, this actually existed. I think I have a picture of this on my phone. If I can find it, I don't know. But I can promise you they had this. They had what they call shoe polishing. Like, they had a dedicated cloth in the hotel room to polish your shoes with. I didn't even know that existed. Like, that's an actual thing. It's so weird. On the second day of Nationals, Gregory gives his sales presentation, which is amazing, because I sit in and watch, and it was just like clutch. Like, amazing. And then I give my like little crappy 3D animation presentation. And since I'm at Nationals, this is the nation. This is most of the 50 states of the United States competing. And then get this, future business leaders of America. You think that you're going to be competing? I'm like, all right, I'm competing against people from America. All right. But no, that's not even it. There's people from America there. There's 3 kids from like each state, right? But then there was more. There was people from like other countries too. And I'm like, okay. This guy just got a little more intense. This is where it gets funny and also very cringeworthy. Okay, so I walk up. No, wait. So I give my presentation for the first time. I gave it twice in Nationals, right? So this is for the qualifying round. So I go and I give it. I ask the judges. The first thing I make sure to do is ask the judges if they're familiar with Cinema 4D. I think they're going to be familiar with it since this is the national 3D animation competition here. But they say, like, one of the judges says, like, yeah, kind of, but the other 2 are just like, no. So I basically just do the same thing I did at state, just talk it up, and just act like I'm like I'm a NASA rocket scientist for using Cinema 4D, which I'm not. Anyone can use it, super easy software, but it looks kind of complicated from a first glance. Like, when I show a screenshot of it, it looks a little, like, kind of complicated. Like, I don't know what your definition of complicated is, but it looks like semi-professional, right? So I show those screenshots. I show my really cringeworthy animation, and then the judges are like, very interesting. And the judges are like stone-faced. Like, they show no emotion. They're basically robots. So I'm really thinking like they hate me. I'm like, all right, this is where my 3D animation career comes to a close. They hate me. They realize that I'm actually really bad. And so I walk out. I'm feeling pretty bad. I'm like, okay, well, that was a failure. So I go back to the room. We check their results the next day. So I'm in the top 10 now in the U.S. plus some other countries that decided to show up for some reason. I don't know. But so I'm in the top 10 now. So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm like, all right, this is the last round I could possibly do. But so I go in with my laptop and my 3D animation to the final round, which is the next day. And this is an open one, so like anyone can come. So there's solid like there's a lot of people basically for me to give this presentation to. There's a lot of people. They're all sitting in there. And I go in with my like crappy laptop and my pirated version of Windows and my cracked Cinema 4D animation. It's interesting. But I walk in there, and this is where it gets cringeworthy, guys. This is where it gets terrible. So I go to give my presentation, right? I'm like, hello, my name is Evan. Shake the judge's hands, blah, blah, blah. The procedure. And then I go to give my 3D animation presentation, and I hit play, and there's no sound. There's no sound. I'm just like, so I do my troubleshooting, my traditional, troubleshooting procedure. I'm like, let's check to make sure the Windows sound is up, check to make sure that the YouTube sound is up, check to make sure the projector. I'm pretty sure, like, to this day, I still don't know what the issue was, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a problem with their crappy projector. Of course, I'm going to blame it on them and not myself, but I honestly have no idea what the problem was. It was so terrible. So I honestly, the judge is like, oh, well, can we see it anyway? So I show them the visual, and then I go on to give my presentation about Cinema 4D and how complicated it is, and how complicated, quote unquote, complicated it is, and then I have like a or 7-minute time limit, but I intentionally go over that because I wasted a lot of time troubleshooting. So I intentionally go over that and just basically explain how complicated Cinema 4D is to give myself at least a little points, because there's like a rubric where you get points and whatever. So that was just the most uncomfortable presentation I've ever done. And keep in mind, there's not just the judges, there's not just my FBLA instructor, and there's just like all these people. It was bad. But yeah, I ended up like I told like a couple bad jokes and just to make it more uncomfortable. But I don't know, apparently I maintained my composure like decently. So I ended up getting 7th, which was absolutely unacceptable. I went home, my entire family just shunned me. Nobody talked to me for weeks. No one wants to talk to 7th place. Jeez, terrible. What an unacceptable. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Basically the moral of the story. That's pretty much how you go to FBLA Nationals. If any of you are in FBLA, I hope this helped you. I'm going to Nationals again this year because I'm doing 3D animation again. If I do it in a group, I qualify to go again. So I'm going to Nationals again this year. And so yeah, if you want to go, just follow this advice. Go to FBLA Nationals, and I'll see you there this year. I'll be doing 3D animation again. See you guys in the next video. That was just that presentation. Oh my gosh, I just don't want to think about it. And a lot of you gonna ask, oh, can we see the animation? The answer to that is no. No, you can't. It was so bad. Like when I say it was bad, I know some people say it's bad because like they're like seeking compliments. I genuinely mean like this was embarrassing. Like I did not want to show it to people. It was really bad. Like, maybe if I go to Nationals this year and it's a good animation, I'll show it to you guys. But I'm not going to show you guys this animation. I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't do that to myself. The reason I didn't upload it to my public YouTube channel is because people would expect better content. That's literally how bad it was. Well, maybe if I get to, like, 10,000 subscribers or something, like, someone can remind me, and I'll just post it, because at that point I probably don't care. But, oof. Whew, it was something. I'll show you a couple screenshots of it. That's pretty much all I'll show you, because it was no, just, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. Anyway, that was the FBLA Nationals experience. If any of you are in FBLA, hope that helped you get to Nationals. I will see you there at this year's Nationals. That was the longest rambling ever. I'm so sorry for making you listen to this. If you're still here, wow, good, congratulations. Anyway, hope you enjoyed whatever the heck. I don't know what game I was playing in the background of this. Maybe Race the Sun, maybe something else. I don't know, but hope you enjoyed that gameplay. It was probably just very average. Probably a single-player game where I wasn't even competing against anybody. So there. That's been another video. I'll try to get a video out in like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or like 30 days. I promise I'll get one out within the next month. How about that? But you know, I gotta work on that FBLA Nationals 3D animation. I actually have to work on it though, like for real. Christmas break coming up. I have the same strategy as last time. Still haven't done anything. But I should really learn from my mistakes. This time though at Nationals the sound will work, and hopefully I can get that big #1 first place. It's been fun talking to myself for 23 minutes. It's been fun talking to myself for like half an hour. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye.